Hello everybody and welcome to the video. If you are new here, I know there are a lot of new people here. My name is Brenna and I have spent the last 4 years living in my self-converted Toyota Hiace camper van, which recently was written off, and I have now bought a new Toyota Hiace, a newer model, and I am in the process of fitting it out to become my new home. And it's been just over a week since my last video and we are making progress. I am in Australia and it is summer and I am dealing with heat waves, and so I'm having to work if there's a cool day, or at the moment it was like 38 degrees Celsius today. I did some in the morning and I've done some in the evening, and I'm trying to get this video out for you to catch you up on everything that I have done, so I'm able to do little bits and pieces to move us forward. Alright, so I did actually shoot some video last Monday of what was happening by putting the sound deadening on the ceiling, so I'll let you go there and I will pick you up before on my way to Bunnings. Alright, it is Tuesday. I am working on the van again, and for this video I'm going to try and take you through more of the steps, and I'm quite excited because we almost finished the prep. And the prep takes a lot of work and a lot of time and you don't see much for it. But I do remember sitting in my van going, I'm so grateful that I did everything I did before I put up the walls and floors. So we're doing the same thing. So at this morning, we're heading for 36 degrees today. We've got the start of a heat wave, but it's not going to be 36 till about 2 o'clock this afternoon. So I'm going to try and knock a few things out this morning. The first thing is to put the sound deadening on the ceiling. I apologize for the traffic noise, but I have to keep the van open so I don't die of heat. All right, first of all, I bought some more sound deadener, and look at this. This is the one I just bought, the one I had before, which was black, and this one is silver, but I cannot see any other difference except for the color, so who cares about the color? All right, I'm going to get this up as quickly as I can, and then I will come back to you. I want to get the white spray painting done today. All right, here we go. I've got to try and get the angle right because I don't have a screen up, because then you watched yourself and you don't watch the camera. But I had a question in the last video if I could say where I bought things and how much they cost. So I will be doing a total at the end. If anyone watched a few weeks ago, I have done a budget for this build and I'm recording the actual, and the sound deadening was not in the budget. I had forgotten about it, but I will let you know that I bought these at Repco. I'm in Australia at Repco. They're $105 each, but if you have RAC, I got a discount and I got them for $99.75 each. So they're not cheap, they're expensive, but they are worth it. All right, back to putting this up. All right, let's talk about the things you need to do the sound deadening. I didn't talk about that in the last video. So this is obviously the sheets. You need this. I have a rubbish bin to put in all of these bits and the backing. I need scissors in case I need to cut it. You need a roller to roll it in, and I have a stool to sit on, and of course my Australian safety boots. Oh, and I also got some water with electrolytes. So just a pointer, if you are doing this when it's really hot, I'm a person that sweats a lot, and it's really important that you keep hydrated and also keep your electrolytes up. So I buy one that is doesn't have any glucose in it. It actually has extra stuff like magnesium and things for your muscles, but please keep hydrated when you're doing this, especially if you're doing it when it's hot. It's actually a lot of physical work. All right, here we go. The thing with the sound deadener is it doesn't have to fill, sorry about the traffic noise, it doesn't have to fill the whole panel, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. It's just going to cut down, you can see the difference. It just cuts down on the reverb, on the vibration. So yeah, you just need to roll it in, and that's how you do it. I have pre-cut, the traffic's terrible. I did pre-cut a bunch once I worked out what I needed, and I'm just kind of working down one side, then I'll come back up the other. It's looking good. I have done one side, and now I'm going to go up the other side. The traffic's unreal. The other thing I want to say is that it doesn't matter, like I made a mistake and I assumed all the panels were the same size and they're not. So I had to trim these off a bit, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't have to be one sheet. You just cover the metal. So you can do like patchwork. It really doesn't matter. So where I've done these small squares here, I can put bits on either side. It really doesn't matter how it goes up as long as it's up, okay? Don't stress about this. It's really easy. It really is easy. It's simple. And don't overthink it. I think maybe I overthought it the first time. Don't overthink it, just get it up. Also, don't know if you noticed, I changed tops already because I was getting hot. I'm already sweating, but I really want to power through this morning because the next 2 days I won't be able to do anything. We're like 40 degrees tomorrow. It's going to be a warm night. So I want to power through today. I really do. I'm helping my sister move for the next 2 days. But yeah, I've got to power through or I'll never get this finished. I'll be waiting until July for the weather to get cool. All right, let's get going. Hello, everybody. I've had a change of plans. So it got too hot. I finished the ceiling, the sound deadening. I'm really happy with it. It did use that whole box and I didn't do the wheel arches, which I'm not too worried about. And it got so hot I couldn't do the spray painting, and I realized I need to do the insulation. Once I get this insulated, it'll be much cooler to work in because I haven't got any shade. I'm in the direct sun. So I have had lunch, I've refueled, I've rehydrated, I've had a shower, and now we're going to Bunnings. I've done my research online, and now we're going to go spend some money and buy all the insulation for the walls and the ceiling. The floor I'm going to leave for now, but let's get the walls and the ceiling insulated. All right, let's go to Bunnings. So that's how we did the sound deadening, and I made a good decision to get the insulation up, which has made a huge difference, and go to Bunnings to get it. So let me tell you about that afternoon. I ended up having to go to 3 different stores just to get the insulation I wanted. Now, if you're in Australia, one of the lessons I learnt was I used to look at the Bunnings online and it would tell me which stores had it in stock, but that didn't hold true. When I got to the store, they actually didn't have it. So I ended up going to 3 different stores. So the insulation that I got was the foil board for the ceiling. I'm trying to remember. I think the foil board for the ceiling, the foil board for the walls, and I also got the bats, which they weren't actually bats, it was a big roll of earth wool that I used to put in the cavities. So I did end up getting that at 3 different locations, like I said. So in the future, I would try and do click and collect or phone ahead to confirm that they do have the supplies, because I spent all afternoon running around on like a 40°C day, and honestly it wore me right out. On some good news, my friend Faye has safely arrived back in Perth. So if you don't know, I'm house sitting for Faye. She drove to New South Wales to visit her family over the Christmas New Year period. I think she was gone for about 7 weeks altogether. She drove her little Hyundai Getz over there, and she just made it back on Friday. So I now have a helper in the van, which is fantastic. So with the help of Faye on Saturday, we were able to get the foil board in the ceiling. Now, this one has so many more struts, I don't know what you call them, than the other one, and so we had to make lots of pieces. It was a lot of cuts to get it all up there, but we did it, and it actually didn't need anything to stay up because the roof is curved. You just push it up, it stays up, and it's wedged in really tightly against the sides of the van. The other thing we got to do was I had saved the old ceiling pieces to use as a template, and so we just laid that out on the front lawn and put the template on top with the silver insulation, and we were able to cut out perfectly to get it up. And Faye did take a bit of a rest at this point. My assistant's not the best, you know. Anyway, so no, we had a good time. We had a lot of fun doing it. But yeah, I was able to use that template, which meant this went up perfectly. And I'm going to use that template again for the ceiling. Once we had the foil up, I decided to test the templates on the ceiling. I actually removed the ceiling plywood and the walls plywood from my previous van. The write-off was not an accident. It was more to do with the wheel fell off and the underneath was all damaged, so they didn't want to repair it. And I was able to go in and strip out as much as I could. So I took the ceiling and the walls, and they're in the shed back here at Faye's house, and I was able to take the ceiling template into the shed and try it, and it's going to work. I'm going to be able to use the same piece of plywood. I have to cut slightly bigger hole for the light in the middle and cut a hole for the one in the back. In other words, it's going to go straight up. We also tried in the walls, and again, I'm going to be able to reuse those. Now, if you watched my last video, you'll know this one is 15 centimeters shorter, so I may have to trim the walls a bit, but I can still use the same pieces, which I'm really pleased with, because I'd like to recycle as much as possible. And it's just, there's nothing wrong with that plywood, and it makes it a lot easier with not having to cut in templates and everything. So we discovered that. We also managed to get the earth wall into the cavities. This was all on Saturday. We worked really hard on Saturday because we had heat wave coming again. So we were able to get the earth wall into the cavities, and the one I got is quite thin and it just slides down. And the reason I put the earth wall in the cavities is it goes deep. So it goes right, like it goes down from where you could see the bottom. It goes all the way down to my elbow, down below the van. So I'm able to slide that all the way down. So I get really good insulation in that whole cavity. And then I just seal it in. After that day, we were both pretty tired. First of all, Faye had driven across Australia in 4 days, and I had been working on the van, helping my sister move on a 43°C day, and then working on the van again. And we were both really physically tired, and I think a bit of heat exhaustion from working in the heat and sweating so much. So we did take a couple of days off. I did book the van in for service on Monday. So on Monday, I took the van to AutoMasters and got a full inspection on everything. I wanted to know if there was anything I was going to be up for in the near future. I always like to know. And I knew there was a problem with the brakes when I bought the van. And apart from that, the only thing they found was a globe on the license plate. So I'm very happy with that. They also said it probably needs a wheel alignment. They don't do that there. But apart from that, the van got a seal of approval. So that is like the most relief, best news I could have got. That I'm just so happy with that. So on Monday, while the van was, after I picked the van up, there's a Bunnings right next door, and I did a click and collect. I'm trying to do as much as I can on the hot days, so I did a click and collect, and I picked up the fire blanket, I picked up the caulking gun and the liquid nails I'm going to use for the floor. I also got the insulation for the floor. I'm trying to think. And I also got one piece of plywood that's going to be the battens that I'm going to run on the walls to screw the big sheet of plywood into. And I also got a drill bit. I have notes. I always have notes. So I also got a drill bit. So I've just about got all the supplies I need to finish the wall floor ceiling now. It is really hot again. Like I said, today is 38°C. Yesterday was pretty warm in the afternoon. And so I'm now trying to just at least push the needle forward a little bit each day, whatever I can do. So last night I was able to tape up the ceiling. So I use this insulation tape, and it's just to form a vapor barrier. Basically, I'm just sealing in all that insulation. And so I was able to get the ceiling taped up last night when it cooled down. I came out here about 6:15, and Faye helped me, and we're able to get this taped up. I also, last night, while I was in the house, I have the big roll of insulation. I measured out these panels, and I had pre-cut the foil I pre-cut it last night in the house in the air conditioning, so I had that ready to go. This morning was reasonably cool. There was a really good breeze, which made it more comfortable, and I got the spray painting done in the van. So I have this spray paint. Now, I have this left over from my last van, and it does have a rust inhibitor and corrosion inhibitor in it. On my first van, on the floor, I had a lot of exposed metal, and I just used a rust preventer. It was black, but because I already had these, I had 2 cans, I decided to use it. And so this morning I have sprayed all the exposed metal on the walls and the floor. So yeah, that's pretty well done on the wheel arches. So that's all sprayed now, just to prevent any rust. Some areas had a little bit of surface rust, but for me it's just a precaution. Going forward, I don't have to worry about the rust from the inside. So tonight, surprisingly enough, it got reasonably cool. I think it got cooler than they were expecting, and again there was a good strong sea breeze. So I came out and started taping up the foil again over the bats, and again making a vapor seal. Now I started that. Faye was at the dog park with her dogs, and then she came back and she helped me finish. And also another bonus tonight, I sold the ladder racks. So that was really nice, just to a person that lives a couple of streets away. He's a antenna installer, so I sold them. So that's really good. So that's cleared off the property now, and yeah, we're getting there. One more thing I did today in the middle of the day was I measured up my piece of plywood that I have for the battens. I'm just going to make them 10 centimeters. So I just ruled it all out, 10 centimeters. So that's now ready to just cut. So yeah, again, any little thing I can do in the house when it's cool during the day or morning or evening, I just got to keep moving along, because I really want to be out of here by the end of next week. And I think we're actually going really well. We're going really well. So I almost have all the materials. Tomorrow I'm going to go and buy the wood for the floor, which is the last thing I need. I have to go to a store that's about 25 minutes away. There's not one near here that has it. So I'll be going there to buy the wood for the floor. And then, yeah, we're just going to keep going. Hopefully in the morning we will get the foil board on the sides. And then maybe tomorrow night we can get the foil over the top of it. And then, yeah, then we can start screwing up battens, and then we're getting into the wood. I really want to get the ceiling up as well. But yeah, it's all happening. I did want to point out to you, on the ceiling, when I put it up, you'll see these little black lines. That marks where the, I don't know, what do you call these things? Girders, whatever. That's where I'm going to screw the ceiling into. So I just use one piece of plywood on my ceiling. I don't run battens or anything. I'm just going to screw straight into the metal struts. I don't know what you call them. I'm going to screw straight into the metal struts. That's why I did the last one. I just screw straight into there and it will hold it up. I think that's everything. I was really hoping to show you more of the process, but I'll be honest, I don't think I can, because time is so restricted and it takes a long time to set up videos and shoot videos. And yeah, it's all I can do to work on the van, and at least I'm trying to remember to take videos as I go, stages, so that you can see what I'm doing. But if you have any questions, please ask them in the comments. But hopefully this is helpful for everyone that that's wanting to do their own. And again, it's not difficult at all. It's really easy. It was really easy, especially now that I know what I'm doing, and you've got some guidance now with me. But it's not difficult. It is physical. But it's just a case of, it's like a puzzle. You just keep adding the pieces of the puzzle, and eventually it builds out. It's like a 3D puzzle, and eventually it builds out and you'll be done. All right, thank you everybody for watching. If you enjoyed the video, could you please give it a thumbs up? Welcome to all the new subscribers, and I look forward to seeing you again soon, hopefully with some wood. We want to get some wood up in here. All right, see you everybody.